The Cell Analogy Project, Cell equals Jeep, by Rohan Sohani. The cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is a web of proteins in the cytoplasm. It acts as both the muscle and the skeleton. Because the cytoskeleton is a web of proteins that acts as the muscle and the bone, so that in the car it would be the steel frame because it helps keep the shape of the car. The cell membrane is a protective layer that covers the cell surface and acts as a barrier. The soft cover is like a cell membrane because it restricts things to some level, so it is similar to the cell membrane. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a fluid inside the cell which makes up most of the cell. Golgi complex and Golgi body. The organelle that packages and distributes proteins and other materials throughout the cell. The electrical wires is almost the same thing as the Golgi bodies because they transport signals and other things to the cell or the car. The lysosomes, or also known as the garbage men, is the organelle that digests food particles, waste, parts of the cell, and foreign invaders. The exhaust pipe is like the lysosome because it takes out the fumes that are not needed in the engine. The mitochondrion, which is also known as the powerhouse, is the organelle that breaks down food molecules to make ATP. The engine is a great example of the mitochondrion because it provides energy for the car. The mitochondrion also is the main power source for the car, and so is the engine of the Jeep. The nucleus is a membrane-bound organelle that contains DNA, which has info on how to make proteins, and it is covered by two membranes. The nucleus, which is also my dad in the car, is the exact same thing as the nucleus in the cell because he controls all the functions of the car. The ribosomes. The ribosome is an organelle that makes proteins, and it is also found on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The ribosome in a car is like the transmission because in the cell, the ribosome is the controls between the nucleus and the cell. In a car, the transmission is the control between the driver and the car. The smoothie yard. The smoothie yard is a system of folded membranes in which proteins, lipids, and other materials are made. The catalytic converter is similar to the smoothie yard because they both detoxify the pollutants, and that is what the smoothie yard does, and so does the catalytic converter. The vacuole, or also known as the vesicle in animals, is the organelle that stores water and other materials. The vacuole of the car, or the fuel tank, stores fuel, which can be used later, and this is the same function as the vacuole in a cell, except it does not run on water, it runs on fuel. The cell wall. The cell wall is a rigid structure that supports the cell, and it is the outermost layer of the plant cell. The steel doors of the Jeep is like the cell wall because the cell wall has a rigid structure, and so do the steel doors of the Jeep. The end. Thanks for watching.